and welcome to Veritas's monthly wrap-up. This month is June, and what we looked at for the entirety of this month was laughter. Something that all humans are capable of, something that we all enjoy doing, but something we may not be educated on as to why we do it, how we do it, and the benefits that it brings to us as well. And without that level of understanding, we can sometimes forget to be carving out specific time in our day, in our week, to engage in those things that we find humorous and funny. And what we were trying to achieve in this month is to bring that level of education so that we could understand and we could encourage you to be carving out time in your week, just like you would for physical exercise, to be engaging in that material, which is non-threatening, humorous, and positive as well. So as usual, we developed the 4 blogs and 2 podcasts looking at laughter in a variety of different angles. And of course, we always start the month by just explaining the topic that we're talking about and the fundamentals of it as well. And this month, we thought it was really good to start with the fundamentals of the benefit of laughter. Why is it important? What impact does it have on us? And what levels those impacts are on? And what we looked at was the fact that laughter impacts us across many different areas, pretty much every area of our well-being and our health, where there was neurological outcomes from laughter. So that is that when we laugh, as it is an element or it is a type of positive emotion or positivity, happiness, we get that rush of endorphins within ourselves as well, which helps to lift our mood. The other fundamental neurological biological outcome of stress is that it helps, laughter, is that it reduces the impact of stress. It has pretty much the opposite outcome or the opposite impact on us that stress has. So you're probably quite aware of the physical impact stress has on you, whether it be poor sleep, so it impacts your sleep, tense muscles, grinding of the teeth, certain behaviors that you might engage in when you're stressed. Laughter has pretty much the opposite effect. It helps to relax our muscles and has some other tremendous physical outcomes, including helping boost our immune system, which again is why it's so important. And that's at that level. When we look up at another level, so we look at our mental well-being, mental health, physical well-being, laughter has tremendous benefits on that area as well. It helps to reduce anxiety and also stress as well. We'll explain this a little bit more, but on a most basic level, it distracts us and gets us to engage in something that is positive for us, not those trigger words of stress or anxiety. It helps us to relate to and focus on something completely different that brings positivity into us. Yeah? And helps remind us that there's good out there in the world, that there's positive meaning and purpose, etc. And that it's just always going to negate anxiousness and stress. Is it going to cure anxiety? No, but it can be part of your tool belt in helping you to maintain a good level of mental health, and also could play a role in helping you to overcome any mental health challenges that you might be having, particularly if they're anxiety related. It's not the cure, absolutely not, but it can assist. It also helps to build confidence. Now, I haven't done the research personally on what the link between laughter and confidence is. However, my professional opinion and assumption would be that as laughter represents, it is a social demonstration of who we are as well, what we find humorous and enjoyable, and to show an element of that in us takes confidence. It's also quite a public and physical act, which we may not be necessarily in control of. For example, you may, some of us may not have the best laugh, but to demonstrate that in public, to be willing to be in that state in public, can build confidence as well. So potentially, if you're feeling not as confident in social situations, if you're trying to challenging yourself to be more engaging and more social, try and practice some laughter in public. Obviously, at the right time, when something is humorous. I'm not suggesting that you just start walking down the street laughing to yourself. However, practicing and engaging in humorous material in public spaces can be part of that little journey you take on building that level of self-confidence, even self-esteem as well. There is also very good impacts in laughter in how we maintain our relationships and establish new social relationships. And as we are social beings, that is a really important component of our life. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but what I first wanted to focus on was looking at fundamentally, and I briefly touched on this before, how laughter manages to have this such good impact on us. Why is laughter so important, and how does it cut through everything else that's happening in our lives and then able to impact us in such a positive way? And the reason being is that to laugh, we need to be engaged in a stimulus that we find positive, energizing. It's quite a physical act to laugh, happy, non-threatening. And if we're engaging in those stimulus or stimuli, then what we are not focusing or engaging in at that point, even if it's just for a brief moment, is distressing stimulus, stressful stimulus, negative stimulus. And in the modern lifestyle, there is a lot of that negative, distressing, stressful stimulus available to us. We work a lot, and work has tremendous benefits, but also with work comes expectations, personal and professional expectations, deadlines, pressure, challenge to grow, etc. And if we're only engaging in that, we're focusing on that without the positive, without the happy, without the opportunity to laugh, it can start to draw down on our resilience and our mood, etc. Particularly if we're going through a challenging time at work. Modern society, we have such tremendous access to social media and news, which is terrific at helping us stay informed. However, it gives us an unfiltered quantity of negative material that we can engage in at the drop of a hat. And, a lot of us are sitting there scrolling on all the various different social medias during the day, during the week. And that, like I've mentioned, is just an access to potentially distressing material. Not all the time, but if we're not wise with how we're digesting that, then we can bombard our lifestyle with negative, heavy material. And that culminates in this dense lifestyle of stress and distress, where laughter is just the opposite from that. And being able to carve out specific time in our day or week, it helps to combat that. It helps us to focus on something completely different. And when we're looking to achieve that positivity, it's not about telling ourselves to not think about what's stress or not think about what's coming up, but to switch the tracks on which we are thinking and head towards that happy and positive thought line. And that comes through engaging, or it comes easier, sorry, from engaging with positive and happy material. And that's where laughter is so impactful. Coming back to our relationships, laughter has a tremendous impact on our relationships because, as I mentioned, it helps us to build new social networks and re-establish or maintain ongoing relationships. We are social beings, so it's really important that we are feeling connected to those around us, those that we spend time with and those that are of meaning and purpose to us. So time might be work colleagues, meaning and purpose might be your social friends and or family, etc. Bringing laughter into these social networks and settings is really important, as I keep saying, to establish and maintain. Why is this so? Humorous laughter. And I probably should have mentioned at the beginning that when we're talking about laughter, there is a little asterisk that we're talking about humorous laughter. Yep, and humorous, normal, socially acceptable laughing, not, laughing at people or antisocial laughing for whatever reason. It's a bit of a side topic. So we are talking about that positive laughter, socially acceptable, normal, for lack of a better word, laughter. Humorous laughter is non-threatening. So when someone is laughing, It is a demonstration in a non-threatening manner. It is not a physical confrontation. It is not being aggressive. It is the opposite. So it is inviting people to engage with us as well. And through sharing a laugh with someone else, we are sharing a positive moment. And when we are looking to build and maintain our relationships, we're obviously looking to do this with people that we give and receive from as well, and we can share with. So by sharing a moment, by giving someone else a laugh, by receiving from someone else a laugh, we are both benefiting and we are sharing, and that can help to strengthen those relationships. And when we're establishing a relationship, a laugh can help us to show that we're non-threatening, that we are positive, that we are willing to be vulnerable, even as we talked about before, because it's quite a physical demonstration of who we are. We are being open, and that can go a long way in establishing those relationships. So the final question then is, how do we laugh more? And ultimately, what causes us all to laugh is quite unique. We all have different senses of humor. We all have different things that we find positive, etc. Hopefully, generally, what we're finding positive as an individual is, what we're finding humorous as an individual is a positive thing for broader society. We know we're not finding it humorous when there's big accidents or death and destruction. However, when it comes to wanting to laugh more, the real piece of advice I have, or the real takeaway from this month, is that you need to not be passive in your engagement and laughter. So, as I mentioned before, there is a lot of negative stimulus around in our lifestyles and in our community. If we just wait to laugh, who knows when that next laughter will be? Who knows when we'll next have that opportunity to come across a humorous stimulus? You really want to be making sure that you are carving out time in your week specifically designed for you to be engaging in that material, that relationship, that conversation, that person, that TV show, that book, whatever it is that you find humorous. Making sure that you're having that happy hour every day or every week, which is designed specifically for you to be engaged in that non-threatening, non-pressurized, happy, and definitely humorous stimulus. Where can you find this time? Well, why not during your commute? Yeah, this is some pretty much what you call dead time, where you're not required too much to think or do anything complex unless you're driving, which you might be already using to do other things which aren't bringing you that level of positivity. So think for a second if you're using that commute wisely. Are you scrolling and engaging in material that is distressing, or is that bringing you pleasure and humor? And being wise with that and deciding, do you want to be scrolling through news on the way into or out of work? Or would you like to use, if not daily, maybe every second day, that time to engage in a funny podcast, funny movie show, whatever it might be? And think about this. If there's two versions of you on the way into or out of work, one is reading news, engaging with reading about the financial hardships, death and destruction around the world, versus another version of you that is engaging in happy, positive, humorous material. Which version of you is going to be in a better mood when you get to work or home? And which one of you is going to be in a better mindset to engage confidently in the activities that you need to undertake at home or at work? And I'm not saying that, you want to be blind to the news, certainly not. But there's a certain level where being informed crosses over into saturation. And yes, to staying informed, but maybe we can be wiser with that time that we would be engaging with news or social media that doesn't bring us enjoyment, and switching that into focusing on engaging in humorous stimulus, whatever that is for you as well. You could do the same while you're cleaning the house as well, putting a podcast in, a humorous podcast, and using that time where you might be engaging in something else, but you don't have to be overly focused, to engage with something humorous as well. So you don't have to be purely focused on the humorous and doing nothing else, just sitting there at the same time. you can double up this habit with something else. It's not like a physical exercise where it's hard to also be doing something else while you're doing it. You can find a lot of sedentary time in your, particularly if you take the time to look through your weekly schedule and what your daily schedule looks like, I guarantee you could find the time there where you might be doing something else, but it's dead time, you're not overly focused or engaged, that you could also be engaging in funny and humorous material. If you want your life to feel lighter, if you want to be happier more often, then you need to be engaging in things that are light and bring that positive emotion to you. And laughter is such a good way of cutting through and achieving that. So thank you very much for listening to this month's monthly wrap up. I look forward to speaking to you at the end of July. And until then, stay safe and have a good month.